in this directory that we created, right? There are different ways that you can like open that MD file. Okay, if you double click on the MD file now, if you go to that MD file we created, if you double click on the MD file, it probably like opens it in your VS Code. Okay, it probably like if I can find that, probably like this, it will open up in your VS Code. Okay, what you can do is like you can like select it, make a copy of it, or just like actually maybe the easiest way is to just like move it into that direction, to that directory. Okay, I completely forgot about it. What I will do, I will show you different ways. Either I will make a copy of this, go to that directory. Okay, go to that directory and paste it here. Okay. If you paste it to the directory, then you open it, you just open it from your directory. Or if you didn't do it, okay, you opened it in your like a VS Code, just select it, make a copy of it, right? Then here, I'm gonna remove this, right, from my directory so I don't see it here. All right. I'm gonna, once you select it and make a copy of that file, click on this like a new file and indicate like, let's say session, okay, or vic2 underline notes dot md. vic2.notes underline notes.md, and then paste it into that file. Either way works. Either you move that file into your directory and then open it here, or just like create a new file and copy the document into your project, or any other way that you can open that file. Once you open it, then on the top panel, right, on the top panel, you will be able to see that icon. It says open preview to the side, open preview to the side. That's how you can preview view a preview version of MD files. Okay, view a preview version of MD files, not the actual version. So this is the one that you want to like view and like follow during the class. So this is the preview version. Preview version. Were you able to move it or just create the folder and move the MD file? Yes. All right. So just like download this MD file from Canvas, download the MD file from Canvas, and then you can move it to your directory. Just go to your directory that you created for this course or for this section, sorry, for this section, and paste it here or create it in the application. Either way, it works. Everyone is ready, we can move on to the project. Right? Yes? Yes? All right, great. The hard part is over. All right. So today we want to talk about Python refreshers and like cover a few fundamentals of like coding and like basics of programming, but in a faster way. So we want to quickly jump into the basics, review them, and then move on to the next module, hopefully next week when we build the application. So first, we created that. So let's create a few basic things into the project folder and then start coding. So let's start from here. First, I'm going to add a new file. I'm going to add .gitignore. Okay, .gitignore into the directory. This is the one that we will specify what shouldn't be committed to GitHub, right? Then I will create another file, .env. .env file stores the secrets, the keys. This one will store our keys and we make sure that we don't commit it into GitHub. .env file, .gitignore. One thing you can do, I already have this part, just copy this from your file and paste it into your gitignore. Okay. Some of them are cached, some of them are junk files, and like it also includes the .env file. This way we make sure that like we don't push these into GitHub. In the .env file, we can add a key, like a simple, like a placeholder key like this. Okay. I'm gonna add this here. Usually like the keys look like this, like it's a all capital. Like whenever like any variable that you have in the .env file is all capitalized. Okay. So instead of like a paste key here, I'm gonna just like randomly add something. It doesn't matter. Just remember this is like the part that like you just add your key, which is usually like a long key, a character, number, any like a lot of combinations of that, which is that key. You can just like randomly put just character, it doesn't matter. Just remind yourself this is the key you're storing here in the .env file, and then in the git ignore, we specify that it shouldn't be pushed to GitHub. All right. Now, let's go back to the directory and create a folder. Here you have this like a folder shape icon with like a plus. I'm gonna add this and I will create week2 folder. Okay, week2 folder. Inside the week2 folder, I will create my first Python file. Okay, 01 variables.py. This is the first file we create and we work on. We are starting from variables. These are the basics of every every programming, right? We start with the variables and then we move to the list, dictionaries, and move on, like move further. But we start from variables. So I created that. I want to emphasize one thing, like before we move on. You can see that my .env file and .gitignore are not in the folders, are in the root directory. In the root directory, that's what we need. It's in the main directory, right? Not in folders. Just always keep it into your root directory. Make sure that is in the root directory. If it is in your files, let's say it is like you've placed it into a file, you can just like simply move it outside the folder, and it just like moves that file outside the folder. All right. Sometimes in the codes or like some documents, you might see like bash. If you see that bash, it just means that copy this code into terminal or run this code in terminal. Just bash. You see that in some documents I've shared, just means that you should run it in the terminal. All right, let's set up our GitHub, right? So we start from here. I wanted to do this in a way that we don't face so many difficulties here, okay? All right, first I'm gonna do it here, and if I will show you a different approach in case you're getting error or like you're not able to create the repository. For us, if it works, for those who works. So first we start with, okay, git init to initialize a repository. To initialize a repository, we do it only one time for the project. We initialize it. And then git a staging. A staging means git add dot to stage it, right? Git add dot to stage it, and then git commit -m, and inside double quotations, what is the node? Okay, course management. Uh, course management week 2 project initialization. It's a node. You can type different things here, right? Okay. Git commit -m. All right. I committed that. All right. So this is our first time, and we are creating the repository locally and then attempt to create it on GitHub. All right. We use Git init, so we created it locally. It's not in GitHub yet. That's why first we go to version control. Okay. You should be able to see publish branch. First of all, if you like raise your hand if you don't see publish branch, if you go to version control. Everyone sees that? Yes. All right. So that's good. Publish branch. So I'm going to click on publish branch. Here I can specify the name of the repository and also whether it's public or private. I'm going to go with the same name and also private repository, and that's how it pushes to GitHub. So the repository is created and it's pushed to GitHub now. So I can hopefully go, but the GitHub was down, so it might actually like show you and like we might have some issues. Were you able to finish it? For me, like I was checking like GitHub and it was showing error. For some reason, it wasn't that responsive. Okay, at least it worked here. Hey. So let's let it just run to see if we can complete like creating, initializing the project. Yes. All right. That's the error that I saw. I finally found like what is the reason for it, apparently. So, all right. It didn't work for me here. Apparently there is some authentication issue. So instead of doing that, you can do a different way. Create the repository manually and then set it here. So first go to GitHub, okay? Go to repositories, click on new, right? So click on new to create the repository. If your case worked with initialization, you don't have to do it. If you have an issue with like creating the repository, that's what you do, okay? So this way you go to the like the repository and I'm gonna just like set the name, like whatever we set here, you can use it the same way, right? I'm gonna use just git test to just see how it is created and used. All right, git test, git rep test. And then here you can specify the same way that like you can do it locally, you specify the repository type, all right, private, and then create. Okay, create. So this is your repository. You want to use it. You want to use it to set like basically push your project into this repository. So there are like codes that you can run this here. I can copy them from here. Okay, I can copy them from here. And I'm gonna try to do it here. Okay. First commit. Instead of the first commit, I will try to change it. Again, if you already like created and it worked, you don't need to do this. Like this is in case like your publish branch didn't work. So I'm going to change this to project test, right? Remote origin already exists. Oh, because I already created it, it didn't show me. Try this and see if it works for you. I already had it, that's why it was showing me an error. Did you try that? Going to create a repository manually and then set it. Try it and see if it works. Okay. If it doesn't work, I can check it after the session. If you still like, if you also face the same issue, basically you're not seeing like published branch sheets, or when you're trying to create a published branch, it shows in there. First of all, GitHub is down today, so I'm not sure why. So that's one thing. But some of you have like faced this issue that like it doesn't like push the GitHub. So the better way is to first create the repository manually and then set it. I have in the document all the steps that you can follow for manually creating and then setting the repository. You can go to that file that we had like last session, right? Here in the GitHub repository, there's a one section about how to create manually and set it up. Can see it here. Okay, so make sure to review the part 7. It exactly shows you how to create a manual repository and then you like set your repository to that. Okay, today like for some reason GitHub is down, so let's not spend that much time on it for now and like move on to the project. All right, so this is what we want to do today. We want to start from variables and then move through the weak content. So first, we want to start with variables, okay? Defining the variables. I'm gonna move my files here so I can have them at the same place, right? All right, so variable. You're pretty much familiar with it. You've worked with like storing values in variables. You don't like want to like reference things with values. You want to store them in variables and then use variables instead in the application or like in any sort of like programming. So let's just define a set of variables. Here, let me just also mention this. In Python, you can define some variables with all caps. These are some of the variables that like you want to store them, but these are unique things like app title. It doesn't change over time, or you don't want it to change over time, or you want to have it sometimes if you want to change it, but it still like rarely changes, rarely changes. So you write it with the old capital. All right. So these are two ways to define a variable. I'm going to start with this app title, right? App title, all caps, equal, right? So our app title is database assignment manager. Database assignment manager. Right, database assignment manager. Then we can like define variables. We are defining variables for an assignment. We are working on assignment management. All right. So throughout this course, I want to focus on assignment management. It includes creating assignments, updating assignments, removing assignments, managing assignment module. I chose that because this module includes everything you need to learn about like application development. And it has enough complexity to learn about every part of app development. So every assignment has an assignment title, right? Assignment title. What is the title? Here we have homework 1, right? Intro to database design. Oh, right. The assignment title. The variables like always like use like lowercase for the name of the variables. Assignment title, assignment description, right? Assignment description. What's the assignment description? create an ER model. Okay, let's say that's a assignment description. And our assignment has a due date. Our assignment has a due date. The due date is 2026 1/26. We also have the availability, okay, or is published. Used is published. Published, no. Okay, Python is case sensitive, so pay attention to like use like the capital case for false. So we define the variables, and like this way we can define multiple types of variables, different type of variables, whether it's a true, false, Boolean, or like a text or any other sorts of variables. And then we can test it with print, right? We can test it with print. I'm going to use just, okay, I'm going to use print title. Assignment title, print description. All right. We can use this play button here, run it, and then we can see like we can see the output, which is basically like running it and like seeing those print options. Then we have, all right, so we have this different way of creating strings. Have you worked with FS string or like F before the string to create a string? It's very simple. Just like when you're creating, let's say we're like typing print, type F, right? Type F, and then put double quotation. It's FS string. Once you do it, then you can type a string, and inside the string you can place the variables. And place the variable. Yes.
I think I'm getting an error for one of the codes there. So I wish I tell you what it means. It was this one. All I see is the red. Sorry. I can.
Okay, I think it's because you started like with the capital.
Oh, that why? I'm sorry. Okay, so just
Print with the lowercase.
okay.
All right, so F, and then let's say title, right? Title. If you're using FS string, for the like you want to reference a variable, put it inside curly brackets. Okay, curly brackets, assignment title. Right? So that's how you can insert a variable into a string. So you don't like if you have a long string, you don't have to do it every time for one of them, one by one. And then I'm gonna add a /n. Why do we use a /n? Whenever we want to move to the next line. So we use a /n. /n assignment description. And then again, colon, again, use the curly brackets, and then assignment description, right? So you can use F or FS string before the string, so you can insert variables inside a string and create a longer string. I'm gonna add this line here, print. So kind of like separated if a string use. All right. So we can see that. It's the same way, but the difference is that this way you can create a very nice string and long string and like show it in the way that you want. A lot of times you're gonna need that. You're gonna need to use FS string to create a long string and also like insert a text, insert the variables into a long string. Any question? All right. Let's try pushing it to GitHub just to see if it works or not. So here we are done with the variables section. So that's why I want to like push it to GitHub. I'm not sure if it is initialized before, I mean like the push. So we are gonna say git status. Why git status? Git status gives us the status of the project. It will show us if any file has been modified and like which ones are modified. So we can use this to check it. Then we stage it, git add dot, that will stage the changes that we want to push to GitHub. Then we add the commit node, commit and this is define variables, right? Define variables. So stage it, commit it, it's commit locally, right? And then if you go to your, actually you go to your version control, you will see like basically a step by step. Every time you commit it, you can see it in the same order. Now, let me try git push. Okay, as soon as I committed, it just showed me the published branch. So that means my branch hasn't been like created on GitHub yet. So I'm gonna create it again, see if it this time it works. Mine was working last session, so if it's not working, it's just because like GitHub is down. I tried to use it, wasn't working. That's okay. As long as we committed, right? We've committed like this, these are stored locally. We can like push everything at once later. That's totally fine, right? We committed this, it's in the history now. That's okay. Like whenever like GitHub comes up, we will just push it to GitHub. It will store it online, but at least the comments indicate the step-by-steps that we've changed. And you can see that here. All right, so that's about the FS string. Let's move on to the list. So up to this point, we talked about we talked about variables, and each variable stores one data point. Now we want to store multiple variables in one thing, one variable, and that's why we need lists. So for example, we want to store the title of the assignments, right? We have multiple assignments. Each assignment has a title, and we want to store them. How do we do that? We use list. List, right? List uses this design, like the name of the list, and like when we want to add reset or we want to look at something inside the list, we use the square brackets, and then we use the .append function to add to the list, add new values to the list. So let's start from first creating that file. Okay, I'm gonna go to my Explorer, go to week 2, add a new file, 02. Oh, okay, rename 02 list.py. Okay, 02 underline list py. So going back to the variables, we created one assignment or stored the assignment one by one in every variable. Now we have, let's say we have multiple assignments. So each one of them have a title and we want to store them. How do we do them? Using the list. So we'll say titles. Okay. Titles. A square brackets for list, square bracket for list. And I will add the title of the assignments. Again, homework one, was intro to database design. Right. So that was the title of the first assignment. Now, the next assignment title is homework 2 is normalization. And then let's say we have another assignment, it's a case study. Entity requirements. All right. So that like list allow us to store multiple variables in one variable, a list. Like you have the name of the assignments stored in title or in this list. How many lists do I need here for storing information about the assignments? How many lists? Let's go back here. Can you tell me how many lists we need? Assuming that every assignment has a title, has a description, has a due date, and is published. Four. We need 4 lists. Each one of them stores one of these about the assignment, right? But at least we have a way to record multiple assignments. Okay, so with the list. For now, title is good. Let's try to just print out some information, just practice. Okay, titles, right? Titles, titles, and then add comma and titles. This will give me the list of the, like all the title. Then I will try this, titles dot append. This way I can add a new thing to the list, add a new thing to the list, new variable or new value, append. I'm going to add a new assignment. I'm going to call this project milestone. Okay. And then again, print, okay, titles and titles. All right. Let me add a small separation so we can exactly see what happened. This is just a simple like separation in the terminal, right? Just for terminal use. Let me empty these terminals and then run them again. All right. So I had like 1, 2, and 3 assignments. I run the append. Now my new assignment is added project milestone. It's added to the list. So append, you use it to add to the list. How do we access to a specific like a member or like value in the list? Simply by using a square bracket. So let's say second assignment title. Okay, second assignment title. Titles, and then a square brackets. Okay, a square brackets. Here I can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or like 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm looking for the second assignment title, what should I put here? Yes, 1, right? Like in programming in systems, they start from 0. They don't start from 1. So if you're looking for the second assignment, you're looking at the title 1. Okay. That's how you can reference and like find out like what is the title of the second assignment. And every time you add like append to the list, it adds it at the end of the list. So it's ordered. It randomly puts them somewhere. It just adds them to the end of the list. Any question? All right. Now, again, we are at the point that we want to record the changes before moving to the next part, dictionaries. So again, I will open my terminal. I will check my status. Okay, one file has been changed, and you see that the only file that is green, that's the one that we have. It hasn't been committed. As long as you have a file that is not committed, the color is different. Once you commit it, it's recorded in the at least low, even if it's local, it's recorded, and like the order is correctly recorded. So I will say, let's stage it by git add dot. I'm gonna stage it. Git commit okay, lists. All right. I don't want to do the push because GitHub is down, but we have committed this change. An hour later, at night, you can push this to GitHub, and like this history, exactly like this, will become like commits in to GitHub, so we don't have to worry about that part. All right, can close this, and now we move on to the next section. Very important, a structure. Model the things. Dictionary. Okay, dictionaries are the ways that we actually record information about like things in the database. So variables, very good to store like values, but you can see for just one assignment, I need 4 variables. If I have 10 assignments, I need like 40 variables. So it didn't work for us for this type, right? When you have things, you have like assignments, classes, students, these have features for themselves, like database, right? Entities, they have attributes, and we want to record the information about each attribute. So it didn't work. That's why we moved to the list. We said, okay, this doesn't work. We're going to use the list to store like multiple variables. So one list can store information about the data of like the title of the assignments. One list is going to record the assignment descriptions. One list is going to record the assignment due dates. And we can use that version to record the information. What is the problem here? First, we're creating multiple lists, and like data is spread out for each assignment is spread out into 4 different lists. Second, look at you every time you're making a change. Let's say you're removing an assignment, you have to 100% make sure that that assignment's details are removed from every list. So if you forget to leave one of them in another list, you have inconsistency. You remove the title, but forgot to remove the due date. That will create a lot of inconsistency. Searching through the list, because these lists are linked to each other, but one has the title of the assignment, one has the like description. Just like searching through them is gonna be costly. So how do we fix this? When we have something that records everything about one, like everything about that thing in one place, That's why we need dictionaries. Okay, that's why we need dictionaries. How does the dictionary look like? Okay, for a dictionary, it's very simple. Let's first create a file. This is 03. Okay, 03 dict.py. Right, dictionary. Dictionaries are defined the same way like any variables is defined. This thing, we are creating an assignment, okay? An assignment. Okay, assignment. How do we define a dictionary? With curly brackets. With curly brackets. How does dictionary solve the problems that we faced before with key value? Key value. Dictionaries are designed based on key value. What's the key? Key is that like you can think of it of the features of the assignment, attributes of an assignment. Every assignment has title, has due date, has description, key, and then value. The value is exactly value of the assignment, or actually the title of the assignment. So for example, here, I will have key and then value. What is the key? Title. key, colon, okay? And then like this part is the value. What is the value? So what was it? Homework 1. Intro to database design. And then add a comma. All right, dictionary. So you tell me what is the key and what is the value? Key, description, value. Hey, like that's what we had, right? We can go back to the variables. Basically, we are making each one of these variables now become key, and then the values come inside the dictionary. That's how we store everything in one place, right? So I have key, which is description, add a colon, and then indicate. So we can exactly say create an ER model, right? Key value, key value, key value. Again, due date, another key, due date. Mm, 20. What's actually the date we used? Let's stick with that. It was 01/26 apparently. All right. And then it's published. Published false. One more thing. Every assignment has a list of questions, right? So we can actually create that variable here. Questions. How do we want to define the question? For now, we don't have it. But for this assignment, we don't have the questions. But for now, let's just put that as like list. It's an empty list for us. Oh, I forgot to add the comma here. All right. So what does this like a square bracket mean? It's an empty list. So we don't have any, like the questions are empty. We don't have it, but it's a list. All right. So what is this? It's a dictionary, right? Only for one assignment, right? So for one assignment, but how does it fix the issue? It stores everything about one assignment in one place. You don't search for different lists. You don't go through different variables. You just look at the one dictionary and you have all the data about that assignment in one place. How does it work? Key value. The key and then colon, then value. Right. Question. I want to make sure that like we stop where we stopped during last session, so I'm gonna stop here too. Let's finish this, right? So git status, right? We had a new change. Get the status. Let's stage it. Then git commit. All right. Intro. I'm gonna type this intro to dictionaries. Intro to dictionaries. All right, it's committed. Now I'm good to go because I can go to my version control and like exactly see my commits in the correct order. Whenever like this works, I can try it again to see if it's working now. Publish branch. All right. Let me check my GitHub to see if it's coming up. All right, at least my mine was created and went to GitHub. I can check my commits and I can exactly see that I have 5 commits because they're locally stored when I push, it's now initialized, it's on GitHub exactly in the same order that we did them. Again, if you like click on publish, like publish and it doesn't work, or if you only see commit, I will create one again, separate document. You need to create it local, like create it manually, the repository, and then set it. I will kind of like create a separate instruction again to just have it in one place to review it. Hopefully that will solve that issue, right? All right, any question? All right, we can quickly check the attendance and that should be it for today. Initially, like we might like move a little bit slower, but we'll try to get better at